Somewhere in Columbus, Ohio, there lived a young boy. Josh was always a normal kid, always doing normal things. At least that's what it looked like from outside. Inside, Josh always felt alone. His father was a cocaine addict, and his mother was not too bright. Keeping to himself in his room, playing with many toys they brought him to occupy him with, it always felt so empty. That's when Josh had wished for a friend. When Josh was 6, he spent most of his time in the bathroom, playing with the water, or in his room playing with his toys. One day, a large mirror from the inside of the bathroom door caught his attention. It was himself, he knew that. He always knew that there was something about him that was different. His appearance didn't move and smile like he did. The mirror was a long mirror, about half the size of a door, could easily shown his full stature. It was the middle of the afternoon. His mother was sleeping and his father was at work when the young boy was just looking as it spoke to him. "Want to play?" Josh didn't know what to make of it. He didn't feel scared, but it felt so real to him. The reality overtook him as the boy seemed to have moved from the mirror in front of him. Josh just smiled as usual, and he nodded his head. The boy led himself to Josh's room, where the ground was cluttered with Josh's toys. This allowed the two to laugh and play together with ease. Over the next few months, Josh's parents always noticed the loud noises coming from Josh's room, and always talking to himself, toys moving around as he played. His parents always asked who is he talking to or who he was playing with, several times assuming he had an imaginary friend, but Josh always answered with absolute certainty, Jacob. Over the next 2 years, Josh had been focusing on more cartoons and real-life friends and playing with Jacob. Sometimes when Josh wasn't home, his mother could always hear toys dropping downstairs. Jacob didn't appear too often, but there was always a sign that he and Josh were beginning to fear for his room. Josh was even afraid of being near upstairs if he was alone. When Josh turned 9, a lot of things were going wrong. He was beginning to feel others' emotions easily. However, it wasn't like empathy. It was more like feeling sympathy and sorrow. Josh already knew showing signs of anxiety because of his fears, and now his new turn was worrying about everyone around him. No one ever believed that he had a friend in his own room, although his father didn't believe him. His father could sense the adamant fear within Josh's eyes whenever he was forced to go to his room alone. Over this year, Josh had forced himself to sleep in his living room. In the fall, Josh entered 4th grade and was beginning to forget all about his young friend. That was when the nightmares began. They were nothing but serious at first. Things disappearing, his pets dying, his friends leaving. Things that one day did happen and did not too far-fetched either. But not in the way they were shown. His dreams were over-exaggerated and a little more gory and frightening for a child his age to even think up, but he kept his existence to himself. Weeks passed, and dreams got a little more intense as his birthday passed. The next year coming around and everything went by normally. In March his dreams began again, except this time it showed his father, someone breaking in and killing him. Repeatedly mutilated his body until there was nothing left. The next day his mother and father got into a large fight, but nothing too different. There was just so much negative energy in the air. It was as if anger and rage itself was filling the house. But still, Josh was scared of his own dream, begged to his mother to stay home though she ignored his pleas. Earlier that day, Josh's uncle had dropped off a computer for his father to fix up. It was so that Josh could have it for school and socializing. Josh's father had stayed up late to finish it, after Josh had fallen asleep on the living room floor. The small mattress from the pull-out couch was laid across the floor so he could rest peacefully. The next morning, Josh woke up. His morning cartoons were over and he was almost late for school. The first thing he did was to try to wake his father up, screaming at him for making him miss his cartoons. Josh, his father, didn't awake, no matter how many times his small hands pushed his father's body, rocking it back and forth. He didn't move, screaming, "Daddy!" over and over. before noticing the pale gray bubble formed around his lips. Out of instinct, Josh ran to the kitchen and grabbed a knife, protruding the bubble and breaking it. Then the foam moved over, but his father wasn't breathing. His mother worked night shift and wouldn't be home for within an hour, and his mind couldn't even think about the police. His mother was the only thing running through his mind as he ran up the steps, his fear disappearing as he rummaged through the room for his phone book to call the number his mom had left him. Returning downstairs, Josh called the number and she was already on her way home. Still in his pajamas, Josh walked outside and sat on the front steps. He couldn't cry anymore. He just couldn't. He couldn't tell how long it's been since his mother had come home, but the moment she pulled into the driveway, she could tell that something was wrong. Asking Josh what was wrong, he replied with a single monotone voice over and over again. "Dad dead. Dad dead. Dad's dead." Running inside, she found his father's corpse on the floor. Josh walked in slowly, keeping still, watching as she fumbled for the phone to call the police. Crying for him to come back, crying for him to be okay. Josh just stood there, his eyes watching the scene. It wasn't long for the police and the medics to arrive. They said that his father had not died in his sleep, but in fact, having a heart attack and a stroke at the same time, as if something scared him. While the medics were there, Josh sat on top of the step of the stairs looking down. He swore he could hear Jacob's laughter, however drowned out by the people as the medics left. One thing that bore into Josh's mind as the medics spoke out loud enough so that he can hear. If your son knew CPR, he could have saved his life. Depression took a hold of Josh from that point on, leaving things and dying around him, disappearing. None of it could even explain from anyone that dated him and stated that something had told him to leave. Josh was forever cursed and haunted by that little boy from the mirror, the little boy now trapped within himself, forever watching his every step. If you're lonely, never try to play with yourself. What's up, my pretties? It's the Lion Queen here. I want to appreciate you all for tuning into this video, and I do appreciate you guys supporting my video by giving this video likes and stuff. If you really enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe if you're new, ring the bell for notifications to when I upload so that way you guys will get updated for whenever I upload. If you want to follow me on Twitter or DeviantArt, feel free to leave a follow on those if you are interested in following me on those socials. If you want to support my backup channel, known as Miss Dark Shigo, feel free to subscribe to it, as a link to that will also be in the About page section. And with that being said, and that being the case, thank you so much for watching, my pretties, and as always, please stay pretty.